Hello everybody, my name is Waffle Toast, and this is my review for the Transformers Legacy United G2 Universe Breakdown. And before I start the review, I know I've already reviewed the original Legacy Breakdown, but that review's kind of dated in my opinion, so I thought, why not review the G2 version in my new review style? So with that being said, let's begin. First off, I'm going to take a look at accessories. He comes with his blaster, which I think is based off one of the blasters from G1. Could be wrong. You can see it's just molded in that nice teal color that is the entirety of the figure, and it is just beautiful. One problem I have with the blaster is I just think the handle sits forward a little too far. It doesn't affect it looks-wise, I just think it just looks a little off to me like that. But again, that's just an opinion. And he does come with the spoiler as a separate accessory. Should probably move the camera down. And normally, you have nowhere to put it, so you'd probably have to, like, plug it onto the back of the leg and have that looking weird, or have him hold it in his hand, which looks weird. Or what I did in my original review, which was take this port here, because the original breakdown was released in the Evolution line, so you could do the Evo Fusion gimmick of plugging the spoiler onto the gun to form a sort of axe, almost. This is what it was supposed to be, but it looks stupid, so what I did in my original review was I just took it, spun it around, and it would sort of act as like a stock to the gun almost. It doesn't look great, but something I found out recently while I was messing around with the figure is if you have it with the backpack folded up, because if you didn't know, these sides come out and fold down, but it looks honestly stupid, so most people would leave it folded up like this. But these two prongs right here that stick out have just enough space between them to have a friction fit between these two pegs right here. I can plug the spoiler onto the backpack. Now it doesn't want to work on camera. You can see it just frictions on right there. One tiny bump will knock it out, but you could shake it pretty hard and it'll stay there. So if you want to do that, it'll work. Now a few quick things. This is technically the gift pack set version of Breakdown. Because if you didn't know, there was a legacy gift pack of all of the Stunticons in toy colors. And they actually changed the head of Breakdown to be closer to the toy, so instead of the G1 cartoon head, this G2 version has the toy-accurate head. And it actually is accurate, because if you didn't know, the G2 Stunticons were originally canceled in the original toy line, but they later released a single-carded version of Breakdown, which was, I think, for the first BotCon? Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I believe G2 Breakdown was released as one of the first BotCon exclusives. It's just a little detail that is pretty cool. But onto articulation, head is just on a swivel, so it can look side to side. It can do a full 360. Arms can do a full 360. They can go out that far. There is a bicep swivel. Elbows bend 90 degrees, and the wrists can go in and out for transformation. And this is something I always found weird with this mold, is the wrists are ratcheted for some reason. If there's a reason for that, someone please let me know in the comments, because it's just very confusing to me. There is a waist swivel. Legs can go forward that far, back that far. He can do the splits. There is a thigh swivel. Knees bend a little past 90 degrees. Feet can go out for transformation, and there is a very decent ankle tilt. Now on to the size. He is just about 5 inches tall. For the people who do not live in America, that is just about, I'm going to call it 13 centimeters tall. Here he is with Bandai Movie Monster Series Kiryu and World of Halo Master Chief from Halo Infinite. And I can't compare him with the original G2 Breakdown because I stupidly sold my G1 Stunticons, or my G1 Legacy Stunticons. For some stupid reason I did that, but hey, I'm getting the G2 set, so yeah. Let's move on to the transformation. And here we have Breakdown in his vehicle mode, and I know I said it before, I really like that transformation. I know it's a retool of the Combiner Wars, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it, because it is incredibly fun. For weapon storage, you just take the spoiler, plug it onto the back of the car, take the gun, there is a big port right here that this thing will tab into. You just plug it in under there, and there you go. It's actually not bad weapon storage. But the one thing I don't like about it, and I pointed this out in my original review, he doesn't come with guns to have the 2 weapons on the back like the rest of the Stunticons. So what I end up doing is plugging the spoiler in like this. You just plug the other gun in. There you go. You have a pseudo gun in the back mode look. Doesn't look good, but it's there if you want it to be. And I really want to talk about the looks of this car. Something I hated about the original is that the designers weren't allowed to retool the front end to make it look closer to the Countach. And I know there are 3D printed parts out there, but I'm not willing to spend the same price as the figure on a 3D printed part, and I actually have a 3D printer now. So now thinking about it, I could 3D print my own part, so maybe a future short on that. Another thing I wanted to point out is the purple outlining, I guess. On the original breakdown colors, it was just a blue line going around, and it didn't go around the rims. Fenders. Fenders is the right word. But again, on the toy color gift pack they did, the blue actually went around the fenders, so that's, again, just another little nice touch. One thing I also like is, I don't know if you can tell, but the transparent yellow-ish plastic actually has some glitter in it, and it's just a nice touch because the original G2 toy had pearlescent gold windows. I would have liked that here, but this actually doesn't look too bad. So with that being said, let's get on to the size of the car mode. It is just about 5 inches long for the people who do not live in America, just about 13 centimeters long. For the width, it is just about 2 inches wide. For the people who do not live in America, that is just about 5 centimeters wide. So, with that being said, if you've watched this far into the video, you've obviously enjoyed my content, so consider commenting, liking, subscribing, all that good stuff if you want to. And until I upload again, whenever that may be, goodbye.